What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, we got some emulation talk to do, and this kind of came out of nowhere, at least in my opinion. I saw it on Twitter, and it's in regards to one specific game in terms of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Now, I've never played this game. This would be a fun game just to play on its own right, but honestly, we're here to, I guess, talk about the news with this, but also what this could mean going forward, because it's not just one game, right? Although, I guess technically it is really just one game, but it's really what it could mean going forward for hopefully PlayStation figuring out their kind of behind the scenes emulation problems, right? That they definitely, I think it's fair, I don't even think it's controversial to say, they've definitely struggled with, right? So let's get into the actual news of how this was brought up, and then we'll talk about again where it's going. And so this seems to very much be happening. It says PS2 emulated Star Wars: The Clone Wars listed on PlayStation Store, and basically it was like, I think it was even posted on the PS Store and maybe taken down, or maybe people were able to find it, but there's an entire description of this game. It talks about the multiplayer modes. It talks about how this has been converted from the PS2 version to the PS4 and PS5, and if you do a little bit of digging, I saw a couple tweets about it, it has new features, like there's new almost emulation type features with this game, and again, what this means, I think to me, what it means to a lot of people, they might have been able to figure it out. Now, I don't want to jump too far ahead, right, because, you know, they do it once, and it's like, well, how long is it going to take them to give us the entire chest, right, of goodies? And, you know, it might be a while, but hopefully, because we've talked about, even on this channel, on Podcast Now Plus specifically, there's been rumors of, like, the PS3 emulation, that they've been working on it, and I even saw one rumor a little while ago that maybe it's for PS6, maybe it can come out on PS5. I mean, we've talked about this before. Well, two things. Number one, PlayStation has like a huge backlog of games. And specifically, you look at the PlayStation 1, PS2, PSP, honestly, some of those early ones. Now, I played PS2. I grew up with Crash and Sly Cooper and all that, but PS3 was like the big boy console to me as I started to get older. So there's a lot of gems like Infamous and Resistance, etc., that some of them are stuck kind of on the PS3. You have to do it through cloud, right, to play it on PS5. I'm not a big fan of that. So I've always petitioned, you know, to get those PS3 games, and so when I hear about a PS3 emulation thing, which, you know, there is emulation online, and you could do that at your own leisure or whatever you want to do, but in terms of PlayStation themselves, and I will, you know, to be flat out honest, it would be really nice if they could just do it. So it's just so easy. You know, honestly, I'm not a big technology guy. It takes me a long time to figure stuff out when it comes to basically anything. So if you told me that PlayStation just freaking figured it out and we were going to get this assortment of games on PS2 and, like I said, PSP, if we could get some of these games just at a faster rate. I mean, they've done PS1 classics, right? The classic collection. I applauded them when they announced it, even though it was a kind of outrageous price, you know, just to include the Classics collection. And there's some good games there. And every time one gets added, I'm like, oh my dear, it's like Christmas. You got to throw a party for them for that kind of stuff, right? And I mean, in one way, that's fine. In another way, it's like, well, we should really be getting a lot more, right? So number one, again, like for Clone Wars, I've never played this game. I kind of grew up on like Lego Star Wars, and then eventually I played Revenge of the Sith. I played the Battlefront games. That was like the mid-2000s, Force Unleashed, onward. I actually never played this, so I would be excited. I mean, that's just like one general thing you can say. But to me, I mean, not to even discredit or to put down this game, because I'm sure it's good, or I'm sure I would maybe enjoy it at the very least, right? It's more than that. It's about, okay, it's new features too. Like, it's not just a simple, you know, one-to-one kind of thing. Seems like they've figured something out. So now the question is, can we get, you know, an acceleration of this stuff? Are we going to be stuck just with one game? And by the way, well, I think I read it in the title even, like, this is probably in June. So every month, every 2 months, every 3 months, like, is this the start of something? Are we going to have to wait in a terribly long time after it? You know, those are kind of the questions that I'm thinking of. But the long-term benefits or the long-term gains for us as consumers, I think is pretty cool, because we've been asking about it for a while. And again, while I've really harped on the PS3, all of their emulation efforts have been bad. Like, I wouldn't say any of them are good. I wouldn't say they're ahead of the curve or anything like that. I mean, I'm glad they even attempted it. I mean, I guess they could literally just say, nope, like, we don't care about the old games. We don't care about any any type of preservation, there is at least a little effort towards preservation, and there has been at least just a little. I think it can be far more that it hasn't been, but maybe this is the first step, a step in the right direction. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.